14 years ago, on November 27, 2000, Yuto was born. He had no health issues until he became 2. We had normal life. When he was 2 years and 9 months old, he developed childhood cancer. He had a difficult time. After 1 year in hospital, he could come back home. He started kindergarten. For 3 years, he went to school cheerfully, and he went on to the elementary school. I believe that I and our doctors believe that he would be okay. When he was in the elementary school, first year of the elementary school, childhood cancer came back. 2 years after that, when the doctor said, "Your son will not see cherry blossoms next year." At that time, I asked the doctor and other medical staff to keep one promise. My son believed that he could get better. He kept saying so since when he was 2 years old. So please keep fighting with him to the very last. Never suggest him that it's incurable. I asked the medical staff to do that. The doctor accepted my request, and they kept fighting until to the very last. But his conditions were getting better. Until one day, we had to make a decision whether to put him on the ventilator. At that time, I was home, and my husband was with him. He was afraid that he couldn't last until my arrival. So he said to Yuto, "Do you have anything to say to your mother?" Yuto, although he was in pain, "Dad, what do you mean? I don't understand you." He was very angry. He was relieved to hear that, he said. We were not ready. After he was put on the ventilator, he was still trying hard to communicate with us through the mask. Sometimes he seemed to be in so much pain. At that time, I doubted my decision. Is it a right decision to let him keep fighting? I unburdened myself to one of the hospital staff who knew Yuto very well. The person said, when Yuto and his friends were talking about where they wanted to go, other kids said that they wanted to visit Disneyland or Universal. Yuto said that he wanted to go to heaven. Adding that, I don't mean to stay there. I just want to have a look. Because I hear heaven is such a wonderful place. He said so in a cheerful tone. The person said, "So, Mrs. Tamura, Yuto seems to have a very good image of heaven." Encouraged by his words, I decided to talk to him about heaven. I said so to my husband. He said, "When Yuto is finally gone to heaven, our family style may be changed. But We will still be family.
その言葉を聞いて私は
I
ユウトと夫と3人でこ
was
れからも家族であり続ける
I
ことを
decided
確
to
認しようと思いました。
talk about the new family style with three of
こう言いま
us.
した。
I said to
ユ
Yuito,
ウト、
Yuito,
天国は
anyone, everyone will go to heaven
母ちゃんが
eventually.
先に行くかもしれへんし
I may go
父ちゃ
there
んが
before
先に行
you
くかもしれへん。
or your
で
father.
もユウトが一番に行くかもしれない。
Yuito may be the first to be
自分
there,
が先に行っても
but whoever goes there
家族
first
3人いつも一緒やよ。
will be together.
いつも私が言うことに
When I talked to
反
him,
応していた
Yuito
ユウトだったんで
made
すけれど
some
も、
response,
その時ばかりは
but at that time he was motionless.
じっと私の話に耳
It
を傾けてます。
seemed he was listening to
そ
me
の表情が
silently.
私には
I said he was saying to me like this,
俺の天国行きを見送る
Mom,
心の
you
準備
are
をできたんだ
finally ready to send me
そ
to
う言ってる
heaven.
ように思いました。
It seemed to me he was telling me like this.
これはユウトが書いていた
This
漢
is
字練習帳です。
a Chinese character practice notebook.
いつも
He
新
was
しい漢字を
using.
習っては最後の練習帳のノートの文
He
章に
was
とっても
always
面白い
writing
ことを書いてたんです。
something funny when
小
he
学
learned
生
new
らしい
Chinese
面白い文
characters.
章をどう考えるか
So kids,
っていうのが
so kids
ユウトの
like
楽しみでした。でもこの時はちょっと違いました。
hobby. But this time it's
幸せを
different.
神様に願っても
He
全然
he
来ない
wrote, No matter how many times I pray for happiness, I can't get it. Another sentence, I'm almost in heaven.
私はこれをユウトが亡くなったら見ました。
Learned he wrote these sentences after he died.
もしユウトが少しでも自分が天国に行
If
くこ
he
とを
was,
意識
as
していたのであれ
these
ば、
sentences indicate, if he was
あの時に
conscious
ユウ
about
トと一緒に
heaven
天国の話ができてよかったと思いました。
I'm glad that we talked about heaven with him.
天国の話をした数日後、
I'm
ユウ
glad
トは
uh,
本当に安らかに
a few days after we talked about heaven, he went there.
私がユウトとの闘病生活を通してただ一つ
Now looking back,
自分自身に対
I
して
only
後悔している
have
こ
a
とがあり
very deep regret.
ます。それは
That
ユウトが
is,
一番辛かった時に一緒に
when
いてあげ
he
ることが
was
できなかったと
suffering
いう
most,
ことです。
I couldn't stay
呼
with
吸器を
him.
つけてから
After he was put on the
二人
ventilator,
ともユウトを病院に一人残し、
we,
家に帰ってま
my
した。
husband and I, went home every night, leaving him alone
親の精神的
with
な安定とか
hospital
いろんな
rules,
理由があって
parents' physical and mental
家に帰るのがその時は一番いいと思って
stability
帰って
and other reasons.
でも
We
ある
thought
日
at that time it was best to go back home to sleep. But one day when I went back to his room,
私にこう
he
言いました。
said in a very weak voice, he said,
母ちゃん、しんどかった。
Mom, I had a very bad night.
どうしてそばにいてあげなかったんだろうと思いました。
I regret that I should
辛
have
い
stayed
時
with
こそ
him.
一緒にいるのが家族じゃないか。そういうふうにずっと
Families stayed together when we had a very difficult time. That was my belief. But I couldn't do that when my child was suffering most.
守ることができなかったんです。
I couldn't protect my child when he was in pain.
小児がんの子どもたちは
Children with
治
childhood
療以外
cancer,
で本当にいろいろなことを
in
我
addition
慢
to
しています。
treatment, have to bear so
小
many
児がんになっ
things.
ただけで抗がん剤の副作用に耐えるだ
They
けで
have cancer,
これから
they
の
are
人生
fighting
病
against
気と
child,
付き合い
side
続けないとい
effects
け
of
ない。それだけで
chemotherapy, and they have to accept the fact that they have to keep fighting. They are suffering enough. They are suffering so
こ
much.
のような狭い環
In
境
addition
で
to that, they
家
have
族と一緒
to
に過ごすこともできない。
endure lonely hospital lives away from families. They can't see their brothers and sisters. They can't see their
そ
friends.
んな家族の形はあってはならないと思いました。
Children deserve better. That's what I thought.
小児がんになっても
So
抗がん剤治療中でも家族が一緒に暮らすことができる
even under chemotherapy, even after the child becomes sick,
私と同じような経
they
験をした
should
家
be
族や
in the home-like hospital. So I was working hard with families who had same suffers and hospital staff.
8年前
We
から
worked together
活動を始めました。
for 8
たくさんの
years
方々のご支援のおかげで2013
with
年
supports
日本で初めての
from many
小児がんの
people
専門施設チャイルドケモハウスが
in
神戸に
2013.
誕生しました。
Child Chemo House opened in Kobe, the
チ
very
ャイルドケ
first
モハウスは家族が家族らし
therapeutic
く
facility for
愛し
childhood
続けることが
cancer.
できる、それを大切にしています。
This is the place
家
where
族が家族らしく
families can be
というのは
families.
どういうことでしょうか。
We respect home-like
皆さ
environment.
ん
Then
も
what
一
is
緒に
home-like
考えていた
environment?
だければと思います。
Let's have
親が
let's think
でも
about
気
it.
兼ねなく子供のそばにいることがで
Parents
き
can
る。
stay with their
兄弟に
child
会える。
anytime
お友達に会える。
without any
その
constraints.
ために私たちは
Children can see their brothers and sisters and
眠ることができるベッドを
friends.
用意し、
So
それぞれの家族が
we have provided
プライバシーが守られ
rooms
て過ご
with
せるような個室を
complete
用意します。
privacy, with beds for
大
their
きな声で
families.
笑える、泣ける、
Two,
遊ぶことができる。
Children can cry, laugh loudly, play, and families
そのた
can
めに私たちは
cook and
各お部屋に
take a bath
キッチン
together.
トイレをつけました。
So each unit has a kitchen,
家族
bathroom,
の
and
ために
toilet.
働いて帰ってきてくれるお父さんが
Three, the father can
気
visit
兼ねなく子供と家族のお部屋に
his
入ることができる。
after working late
ただいま
hours,
おかえりという家族らしい会話が生まれる。
saying, I'm
そ
home,
のために
and the
私た
child
ちは
will say,
外
Dad,
か
you
ら
are
入ってこ
home.
れるドアを各
This
お部
kind
屋
of
につけました。
family-like conversation they can
当
have.
たり前です
So
が、
each unit, so that each unit has its own
家族み
front
んな
door.
が本当に欲しかった幸せ。それが
This is a
この
house,
チャイルド
a
ケアハウスには
home-like
いっぱい
environment.
詰まっています。
Child Kima House is a treatment facility filled with the happiness of families craved for
私たちは
by
時に
families with sick
病
children,
気、災害、事故、
caused by
私たち
sickness
の力では
or a
コントロー
natural
ルできない
disaster.
さまざまな困難にぶち当たります。
You may find, sometimes you may find yourself in a situation that you can't control. Facing with difficulties, what is the most difficult is not sickness or sickness itself, but is the fact that a family life you have built is lost.
チャイルドケモハウスはそんな家族の苦しみや不安を
At Child Kima House, we listen to their anxieties and suffering
あり続けることを支えて
so
いきます
that they can continue their family lives.
もし家族の形が
In
壊れて
this
しまっ
way,
てもまた
even
新
if
しい家族
the
の形を
family
作っていくこと
style
ができる
is destroyed or changed, they can still be
絶望
a
に陥っ
family.
てもまた
Even if the
幸せに
family
なりたいと
falls
思うこと
into
ができ
despair,
るのです
they can wish
ユートが
again
天
that
国
they
に
want
行ってか
to
ら
be
2年後
happy again.
弟の
2
順平が
years
できました
after Yuto went to
これからの世界と
heaven,
この子の
his
人
brother
生が
Junpei was
順
born.
調で平和でありますようにそうい
Wishing
う思いを込めて
for
名
his
付けました
health and
その名の
happiness,
通り
we
順
named
調に
him Junpei.
平和にやんちゃに育っていま
As
す
his name suggests,
私はこれからも
he is growing up
ユートと共
in
に
peace and health.
新し
He's
い
quite
家族
naughty.
の形を作っていきたいと思っています
I'd like to build up
今日
a
は本当
new
にあり
family
がとうございました
style together with Yuito. Thank you for your kind attention.